Everyone, it's Storm here, bringing you guys another First Descendant build guide, and we've got our girl Freyna in the house today, the queen of mobbing, the queen of toxicity, and I am here to serve it to you with all the toxic positivity in the world. We're going to talk about Freyna's modules that are best, what gun, reactor, and external components you're going to use. Then we're going to talk about the inversion reinforcements as well as the Arche Tuning at the end. Because both builds use the same equipment, Arche Tuning and loadout for the inversion reinforcements, I'm going to go over all the modules first and then break it up on the end for you so you can pick and choose which ones you want to look at. Unless you just want to watch the whole video for fun, you can do that too. But let's go ahead and get into Freyna's modules. Right here, we're going to talk about the Contagion build first. So this build makes your passive change to spread toxic puddles all around the map right there. So this can take from one enemy to the next, spreads faster than COVID. Right here, you start with the first ability is what I like to do, then pop her second ability to kill everything else in the next group if it's not already chaining from one to the next. Her fourth ability here is where you are going to take out her gun for those elite mobs or anything like the boss at the end of Sigma Sector or the boss at the end of the 400 dungeon, or if anything's just not dying right away, this is what you take out to finish them up. But you actually rarely need to use it because this build is just so strong the way that I have built it. So let's take a look at Contagion's build loadout and what we did here. So we're going to start out with the, of course, the Transcendent mod Contagion to make it chain from enemy to enemy. Then we are going to talk about all of the damage mods first. So we did Toxic Amplification, Tech Amplification, Focus on Tech, and Focus on Toxic. You could make this a little more impressive with ability by using just Toxic Specialist and Tech Specialist. That would net you more damage, but I like having just a little bit of cooldown so that way my veteran tactics can do a little bit more work when it does have to reset those bigger abilities like your ultimate gun ability at the end. So it just makes it easier for her to pick that one skill to reset rather than chancing it on the other items. Then we're going to talk about Decimators. So whenever you defeat an enemy that's inflicted with a status effect, and all of Freyna's abilities inflict a status effect, room 0 trauma, then you are going to be getting more skill damage at 5% per enemy defeated, and they're just blowing up across the map. One thing to note with the Contagion build is the only status effect you are going to get is room 0 trauma. All the other status effects are turned into this, so it is a little less potent for the larger bosses than the other build I'm going to be showing you. However, it still does just kill everything so fast, and when that gun comes out, everything melts like butter. So I think it's still a very fun build to use and very on par with the second one we're going to go over. Spear and Shield. This is going to get you a little bit more skill power and some extra defense to stay alive. One note here, if you are struggling to keep your abilities off cooldown, you could switch this one out for Nimble Fingers just to give yourself that extra little bit of cooldown. Skill Expansion and Amplification Control are your range mods to get you right near the range cap without actually having to cap on the range. Here you can see it is a 300% cap, so max range on this would have been 12 and we're 11.8. Max range on the second one would have been 18, but we got to 17.6, so very close. Again, I don't want to use the skill power by maximizing range and lose that skill power, so this is the loadout I use because I'm really just trying to max that skill power. Next, we're going to talk about our HP mod right here. So just giving yourself that extra HP makes you tanky. You are killing things very fast, but they will have time to shoot at you. So having that extra HP just really helps keep you alive so you don't need to be picked up. And if I didn't mention already, that veteran tactic is going to reset the cooldown of a random skill at that 20% chance, 19.4. But that is going to allow you to be resetting your abilities all the time without really having to think about it because Contagion spreads from one enemy to the next. So you walk into a room, cast, everything starts to melt like butter. It dies. When you need those elites or bosses to melt a little bit faster, you pop your 4. By the time it's over, there's hopefully a few other things exploding. That 4 comes off cooldown. Year 4 instantly cools down right away. So that is how Contagion works. Let's go ahead and look at the next build I made here called Flighty Feet, where we have Venom Synthesis. So Venom Synthesis is going to change your third ability. Instead of having that toxic puddle, it's going to allow you to run much faster. It gives you a 30% movement speed increase, and it also inflicts DK on the enemies for anyone that is touching it, and it also starts to spread as well. Here, you're going to notice that you get Panic attached to enemies. On this one, Despair. On the fourth one, you get Nightmare, and Room Zero Trauma is attached to all of these as well. So that is making it so you are doing 5 debuffs on the enemies, keeping them really, really weak. The way that I did this one right here is more of a quality of life build. My second one is going to be higher DPS, but a little less quality of life. You have to think about it a little bit more. But let's talk about what this build entails. So because I went with the quality of life on this one, I took MP conversion and Nimble Fingers, as well as the focus on toxic and focus on tech. That gives my ultimate ability to a 14.4 per second cooldown. Like we did in the last one, we used Decimator because every time an enemy is dying while they're debuffed, you're going to get that massive skill damage. Highly skill potent build, so you're using that again. We use our range mods, amplification control, and skill expansion, just like we did in that Contagion, to hit the max. So as you can see here, the max continuous damage for this one is slightly higher. Instead of 18, it's 21. So that allows that puddle to just be a lot bigger and still spread. It does not spread quite as fast as Contagion, but your cooldowns are way less. You see this as a 1.4 second cooldown. You're casting it a lot more often, therefore just really maximizing your damage. So skill shot this one if you want, or screenshot, not skill shot, screenshot this one if you'd like. The next one, as I said, is going to be a little bit more potent as far as damage and poison toxicity, but a little less quality of life. You will have to think about things a little bit more because it doesn't have a cooldown mods per se. But I went Veterans Tactics on this one, and then I added Spear and Shield to give you that extra damage. You still got the Decimator. All the other mods are the same. You don't have MP conversion, and you don't have the Nimble Fingers. So this one, just like your Contagion, you're banking on that Veteran Tactics to reset everything for you, which it will. You just don't want to be over spamming your abilities more than you need because they're not going to be on cooldown fast enough with this build. Like this was 1.4 on the other one, it's 8.3 on this one. So you have to be more conscious about your abilities and when you're shooting up. But this one will net you more DPS. So if you want to think about it a little bit more and net slightly more DPS, this is the build you're going to want to screenshot for yourself as you get into making your own guide. Now, let's go talk about the rest of the build here. For a gun, you want to use none other than the Secret Garden. With that pest control, it is just making it so your abilities are going to be, your tech abilities are going to be doing much more damage every time they're hitting. Then for the rolls on it, I like rounds per magazine, gives your ultimate more rounds, and then firearm attack is great. But honestly, the other ones don't matter as much. Secret Garden's a high crit weapon. I didn't want to make a second one. I just did that. Then on your rolls, grapple increase and the speed increase are going to be fantastic for just moving around that map a lot quicker. This ability does make Contagion very close to on par with the Venom Synthesis as far as speed goes for clearing, because you're going to be running fast. You don't need that extra 30% movement speed as crucial. And having that grapple is going to get you around the map a lot faster as well. So let's talk about our Reactor next. My favorite Reactor for Freyna is always going to be skill cooldown because I like using those abilities a lot. And my tech power damage. Tech always nets you a little bit more than toxic because it just has that lower skill power to start with. So that's always going to net you more because the modules don't give you the tech damage, they give you the tech skill modifier. So this allows that to give you the maximum amount of damage with it, but toxic is still a really great third roll if you need it. Then for our external components, we're using none other than the Slayer set. The Slayer set is so fantastic when it comes to skill-based descendants, and this is so highly dependent on our skills just crushing the map. On our first one, the power, you're going to want to get max HP and MP recovery out of combat. Slayer sensor, this is probably one of the most important one for skill-based characters, is getting that max MP is the most important one, then MP recovery out of combat secondary. Slayer memory, I like that MP modifier, and then either gold or defense if you're having problems surviving. Otherwise, it doesn't too much matter. For the processor, I like the equipment drop rate because I use Freyna as a farming descendant, so I always want to get those extra reactors and equipment as I am going around the map. Then we're going to use on, oops, wrong one right here, the Inversion Reinforcement. I'm going to give you two options for this top one, just kind of all depends on what you want. So I like using the Neural Focus Augmentation for that max MP to be a little bit higher, but if you're having a problem with skill cooldown, this is a great secondary one to use. For recovery, I love selective neurosimulation, so that way you can get that random boost of MP or health whenever you might need it. And then again, I just want to be sprinting around the map, so I like to use the Adrenaline Rush so I can get that movement speed and just fly around. For my Arche Tuning build right here, I'm going to let you screenshot this. You can just copy it exactly as I have it, and you're going to dominate the ring. So right here, we are going to scroll on over, getting all that skill power, take down the skill cost. You don't have to worry about running out of mana as much. Then skill power, straight up the middle, grabbing all the skill power as well as that max MP to really help your MP recovery. Then that skill cooldown right here again is just going to help you maximize everything you are looking for. Then get that MP recovery modifier, that slight duration up. And I grabbed the extra max HP there just for that extra health. All right, you guys. That concludes our build for Freyna for the day. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you have done anything differently? Do you love the way the build is set up? Is there anything I did that was surprising to you that you wouldn't have thought of? I'm so excited to hear from you, and let me know what other builds you're looking to see and whatnot. So, slay the day away. Have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.